Hey, this is Victor Antonio, and welcome to another fast class. In this small course, we're going to talk about how do you work with salespeople who are actually struggling. What I want to do is give you a model, a diagnostic model that you can use as a manager to work with your salespeople. Now, let's walk through the 5-part model. The first part is obviously prospecting, right? In other words, who are they targeting? Who are they going after? Very important. Who are they targeting? And this is a question to ask the salesperson. Who are you reaching out to? Who are you trying to talk to? In other words, have them give you a profile, all the attributes associated with that target. And if they can give you that, then the second part is, if you know who you're going after, then the second part is, what's your playbook? Now, I'll define a playbook as, what's your outreach program? In other words, as a salesperson, you've identified a target. Let's say it's a C-level executive, VP, maybe sales. And now, what's your playbook? What are you doing to go after them? How are you connecting with them? How are you initiating the call? Are you sending voicemails? What are you saying in the voicemails? If they don't return your call, when do you call back? What's your cadence, right? How often? What's your rhythm? What are we saying in the first voicemail? What are we saying in the second? And what we're looking for is the salesperson making headway? Are they calling back? Because if they're not calling back, one or two things is wrong here. One is we're going after the wrong people, or simply our playbook lacks definition. In other words, it's not that good. The value message isn't there. So I would begin there in working with the sales team. Number two, if they're doing the prospect correctly, the second thing I want to know or make sure of is that my salesperson has a high product IQ. In other words, they understand the product they're actually selling. What's happening in the market today is the customers are overwhelmed with information. They're inundated with information. There's so much quality content out there that they need help making sense of all the information that's out there. The salesperson today has become the differentiator. I truly believe that, because products almost look the same, and it's really up to the salesperson to help clarify what the customer really wants or really needs. So make sure that they're understanding their products. Now, how do you do that as a manager? If you're a manager, what I want you to do is maybe test your people. Test them on their product knowledge. If it's a technology product, maybe have them talk to engineering. And then again, have them do a product demonstration. Have them do a product demo. Ask all the tough questions. Make sure they understand their product and how it fits with the customer's business. So let's say we got these two things going. We got prospecting, we got that going. Then the next step is we want to make sure that they actually know how to present. Now, this is important. Present. In other words, they've targeted the right person. They finally got a hold of them. They understand their product. Good. They have the domain knowledge. This is content. This is the delivery system. And this is where a lot of deals are lost, because they simply don't know how to communicate. So if you're a manager working with a salesperson, how often do you sit with that salesperson and listen to their product pitch? Listen to their sales demo. Have them walk you through it. Because this is going to be very revealing, because that's where the rubber meets the road. You can spend all your money trying to get the right leads in place. You can have them trained on the product. But this is where they meet the customer. So my question to you as a manager, are you working with them to make sure that they know how to present the product and position it? So if we got these three things going, the last one is probably one that should fall right into place, and let's call that pricing. Now on this, we're talking about negotiations. Now, I often think that this isn't as important as most people think. Now, a lot of people run to this and say, yeah, Victor, it's always about price. The customer cares about price. The customer only cares about price if you're not targeting the right client, if you don't position the value of the product, and you don't know how to present why it's different and why it matters to them, then price will become an issue. So again, if these three legs are not stable, then pricing will always be an issue, because you won't be differentiating yourself. This is the toughest toughest job a sales manager has, is you as a sales manager probably know how to sell. Problem is, you got to transfer that knowledge. Your job is to really make sure that salespeople know how to position the product and sell it effectively. Now, the last part, and I'm just going to put this one in a different color. I know it's getting messy up here, but that's okay. Then right here in the middle, I'm going to put PMA. And that is a positive mental attitude. You, as a sales manager, have to make sure your salespeople are mentally in the game, especially when they're not getting deals, when people are not calling back. What are you doing as a manager? Now, I want to highlight something, and this is important. There's a fundamental difference between a mentor and a coach. A lot of sales managers are great coaches, but horrible mentors. Let me explain the difference. A coach is almost like, if you use a sports analogy, it's very instructional. Here's what you need to do. It's very mechanical. Here are the mechanics of what you need to do. That's a coach. If you're a golfer, you know what I'm talking about. Hold your hips, side, put your legs like this, hold the stick like this, the club, keep your head down, the whole thing, right? It's all about instruction. A mentor, which is what a lot of people need today, a lot of salespeople need today, is someone who's there not only to give them instructions and be the emotional support that they need, especially when deals are not going their way, especially when they're struggling to get customers to call them back. How much mental support are you giving your salespeople? So when a salesperson doesn't hit their number, are you that type of person that goes in there, what's going on? Tell me what's wrong. Or are you more empathetic? Bill, I see that you're struggling with certain things. Is something going on? I want to understand because I want to help you. That's the big difference. You're trying to understand what's inside their head. Because sometimes it's not the product, it's not the pitch, it's not the pricing, it's that the salesperson is in their own head, and it's our job as sales managers to pull them out of that. And it's very difficult to do, but it requires patience. Depending on which study you believe, on average, a manager should spend somewhere between 3 to 5 hours per month with their salespeople, coaching and mentoring, those two combined. So let's look at the model. 5 areas to look at for improvement with your salespeople if they're struggling. I would first look at the prospecting side. Are they targeting the right people? And if they are they using the right playbook? Next, do they really understand the product or service that we're currently offering? I mean, really understand it to be able to handle tough questions. Then, presentation skills, how they present. Today, as we do more video conferencing, being able to present effectively becomes that much more important. Last but not least is how do you position the value of the product so price is not an option. By an option, I mean it's not the primary thing the customer is concerned about. Because I always say, never position the price, position the value. If you position the value, price becomes minimized. Last but not least, if all this is in line and you feel good about that, then maybe we need to work on their mindset. Get them motivated, get them hyped up, get them going again. And it requires you, the sales manager, to move beyond the coaching, which I know you can do. But the mentoring piece is tough because it requires patience, it requires empathy, it requires asking a lot of questions and being patient enough to listen to what might be going on in the salesperson's head. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I want to thank you for joining me on this fast class. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.